Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Brothers by Yu Hua, translated from the Chinese by Eileen Changchien Chow and Carlos Rojas, narrated by Louis Changchien and directed by Jenny Seelig. This book was originally published in 2 volumes under the title Xiangdi, and Part 1 and 2 are copyrighted 2005 and 2006, respectively, by Shanghai Literature and Art Publishing House. This translation is copyrighted 2009 by Eileen Changchien Chow and Carlos Rojas. This recording is copyrighted 2009 by Recorded Books. Baldy Li, a sex-obsessed ne'er-do-well, and Song Gong, his bookish, sensitive stepbrother, vow that they will always be brothers. But maintaining their bond and keeping their promise turns out to be quite a struggle as they weather the ups and downs of rivalry in love and of making obscene amounts of money while riding the dizzying roller coaster of modern capitalist China. And now, Brothers.
Part 1, Chapter 1. Baldy Li, our Liu Town's premier tycoon, had a fantastic plan of spending $20 million to purchase a ride on a Russian Federation space shuttle for a tour of outer space. Perched atop his famously gold-plated toilet seat, he would close his eyes and imagine himself already floating in orbit, surrounded by the unfathomably frigid depths of space. He would look down at the glorious planet stretched out beneath him, only to choke up on realizing that he had no family left down on Earth. Baldy Li used to have a brother named Song Gang, who was a year older and a whole head taller, and with whom he shared everything. Loyal, stubborn Song Gang had died 3 years earlier, reduced to a pile of ashes. When Baldy Li remembered the small wooden urn containing his brother's remains, he had a million mixed emotions. The ashes from even a sapling, he thought, would outweigh those from Song Gang's bones. Back when Baldy Li's mother was still alive, she always liked to speak to him about Song Gang as being a chip off the old block. She would emphasize how honest and kind he was, just like his father, and remark that father and son were like 2 melons from the same vine. When she talked about Baldy Li, she didn't say this sort of thing but would emphatically shake her head. She said that Baldy Li and his father were completely different sorts of people, on completely different paths. It was not until Baldy Li's 14th year, when he was nabbed for peeping at 5 women's bottoms in a public pit toilet, that his mother drastically reversed her earlier opinion of her son. Only then did she finally understand that Baldy Li and his father were in fact 2 melons from the same vine after all. Baldy Li remembered clearly how his mother had averted her eyes and turned away from him, muttering bitterly as she wiped away her tears, "A chip off the old block." Baldy Li had never met his birth father since on the day he was born his father left this earth in a fit of stink. His mother told him that his father had drowned, but Baldy Li asked, "How? Did he drown in the stream, in the pond, or in a well?" His mother didn't respond. It was only later, after Baldy Li had been caught peeping and had become stinkingly notorious throughout Liu Town, only then did he learn that he really was another rotten melon off the same damn vine as his father. And it was only then that he learned that his father had also been peeping at women's butts in a latrine, when he accidentally fell into the cesspool and drowned. Everyone in Liu Town, men and women, young and old, laughed when they heard about Baldy Li and couldn't stop repeating, "A chip off the old block." As sure as a tree grows leaves, if you were from Liu Town, you would have the phrase on your lips. Even toddlers who had just learned to speak were gurgling it. People pointed at Baldy Li, whispering to each other and covering their mouths and snickering, but Baldy Li would maintain an innocent expression as he continued on his way. Inside.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?